Hey, there it is. All right. Good morning. Man, I'm kind of out of sorts. I've been out of sorts for a couple of days, actually. But anyways, good morning. Hope all is well in your world. Um, so, man, it's Monday for sure. Right off the bat, I had to deal with some trucks and some loads, and I completely spaced putting one of them into the TMS system. So, kind of out of sorts. So, I'm trying to, figure this out, whatever. So, anyways, good morning. I hope you all had a good weekend. If I know that all but like 15 of you missed the live feed I did with the carnivore trucker Saturday night on this channel, and then I did a live feed with him on his channel last night. Um, it was pretty cool. How's it's pretty interesting. Um, so if you want, catch the replay on that. But anyways, good morning. I hope that you're doing well. I hope that you're calm and collected and centered. And of course, work's going to call. The likelihood of this live feed being interrupted is pretty high. So let me let's see. Reply to all. All right. Okay. So we should be good now. All right. So give us the bad news first. I don't know if I call it bad news. We'll see. We haven't seen what the rates are going to do, but let's get into the comments here, and then we'll look at some low board stuff. How's that? Let me take these glasses off. I hate the glare that they have. Let's see. A lot going on this week. There's dentist appointment tomorrow morning, and then there's a metal show on Wednesday that I'm going to. So there's that. That's Wednesday night though, so it shouldn't interfere with work. But anyways, let's go to the comments here. Snorelord, hope your weekend was well. Ready to get our daily dose of Lord of Snores. Well, we did all right, man. The daughter graduated and got lots of gifts, and we went out to eat. We went to one of those Japanese places where they cook on the table there. That's what she wanted, and that was pretty cool. I had some carbs. I have to admit, I had some carbs, but we're still on track. For the most part, I'm fasting until hopefully tomorrow morning. That's kind of what I'm shooting for. If not tomorrow afternoon, but and they had cake last night. I did not partake in the cake, although it was pretty cool. My wife made this dragon style cake because that's what my youngest is into, and it was like the colors of the high school. It's pretty cool. I might post it on a social media platform. I haven't decided yet. But it was all in all, it was a good weekend. For me, I know that a couple of drivers had some issues over the weekend, so trying to help them as much as possible. But for the most part, and then Monday this morning, I woke up to a driver with a flat tire on the trailer, so dealing with that. I'm not dealing with that. That driver's dealing with that. So, SST, what's up? Good morning. Let's see. Pigtail, what's up? This Trucking Life. Good morning. Scorpion Trucker, good morning. Don Schonger, hello. Desert Okie Pam, good morning. Greg Zimmer, what's up? CB, Carnivore Trucker. Everybody check out his channel. We did an interview last night on his channel, and we did an interview on my channel. A lot of people ask me why I don't do the weekend lives hardly at all. Usually because life has caught up with me, and sometimes I feel like I'm on YouTube too much. But if for some reason I do get in a mood to go live on Saturday, usually everybody else is live on Saturday, so the numbers are fairly low. And so with Saturday being an open forum and there's only like 10 people, that there's not much interaction. So usually I try, if I do a weekend live, I try to have an approach, a topic or whatever. And I got some interesting stuff coming up from the book I'm reading, Never Split the Difference. And I'm telling you, after reading this, I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty convinced that brokers are laughing at us the entire time of their existence, because that's how it, negotiations roll, right? So, and then looks like I got a missed call, but so, anyways, but good deal. The driver just texted me that they're rolling, good to go. Is this safety meeting mandatory? Sorry about the jingle there. Sure, it's mandatory for somebody. Red Pepper, good morning. Rockin' Robin, what's up? Sean Fairman, Lewiston, Maine. Tough market out here. Yeah, especially in the orange world. I used to go there quite a bit when I was a company driver. I never went up there with Schneider. In fact, the only Northeast I ever did with Schneider was Pennsylvania. I did a video. I cracked myself up in that video because I talk about how I was lost. And because I never, I stopped going up there once I could dispatch myself. I think I went there once with Schneider and a couple of times with Landstar, but not much out beyond that. So, PRTV, what's up? Coffee. Anybody see Indiana Jack? He's still alive. He's in the ad. Oh, I did not know that. I don't see ads. So, but yeah, I think he's still alive. I'm not sure what he's doing now. I don't know if he's still the safety guy over at Travel Loco or what. So, Scorpion 06 Semper was first. Is safety subjective, or are there like rules and stuff? It's all on your perception. Good morning, Steve. It's a holiday in Canada, but I will be working. Well, that's what brokers have to do, right? Good to see you, CDN. Everybody's arguing about who was first. Hate Ratman got them ears on. Taco. Yeah, he's focusing. He got out of the truck. He's focusing on his business, and he still posts on Twitter and Instagram. So look up Tico Metal Products, and you will find Mr. Ratman Roden. Let's see. Roamland Services LLC. What's up? The right way to truck. Good morning. Anyone else considering jumping back into the spot market? Missed a lot of good runs last week and already today. Don't fall for the grass is greener thing. It'll be interesting to see how volumes and rates play out this week. I know that you were talking in the other channel, the other videos, Don, about how the water loads that went magically up to $800 were now back down to $450. So, now I'm gonna get into some negotiating things here. I'm gonna start today, but let's finish these comments here. Pigtail says morning. Good morning, everybody. Says Justin, sitting here in Jerome, Idaho, getting loaded, then rolling out to Wisconsin. Drive safe out there. You're probably dealing with some of that smoke. The dang Canadians sent us a bunch of smoke from their wildfires. Good morning from Kutztown, PA. Getting loaded, heading to Indiana, thanks to Rig Runner Logistics. Well, there you go. Give us the bad news first. Well, we'll see. Good morning, Steve, from calm and far from calm and centered. we never finished our conversation. I called you back, but you probably weren't able to talk. So if you want to finish that conversation, then give me a holler. See, there was already another 770 Kansas City to Fulton load I missed overnight. Kobe, not sure what that means. Got to run my boys in for his dental appointment. There you go. I think the water loads aren't being moved numerous days last week, and over the weekend they went up to $800. Well, there's probably an uptick in them. This is the time of year where they're going to really, you can make almost a career of them. But with all the brokers cutting each other's throats and all that, who knows what the rate's going to do on that? So it's very unpredictable what's going to happen. Good morning, Shannon from Ohio. Shannon had an interesting morning. I'm sure she will talk all about it. Yep, Alberta has 82 plus active fires. Wow, dang, that's not good. Not good at all. So, I want to talk about negotiating aspects before we get into low board stuff. Actually, maybe we'll use the low board as kind of a teaching tool. So I'm reading a lot about the psychology of negotiations. Now I want to let's put the 1 2 3 low board up here. I want to share something with you. I'm going to use Uber Freight as a perfect example. Okay, I'm not trashing them. I do use them on occasion. I used to use them quite a bit. And I want to throw in hold on. Had to cough up a lung. My wife is making fun of me. Anyways, I just needed more coffee is what my body was telling me. So, setting the anchor. And one of the things I noticed about Uber is that there was a time when the rates were pretty good. Now, if you're laughing at me, then whatever, okay? If you disagree with me, that's a different story. But there was a time, especially in the beginning, where Uber had some decent rates. They had the best detention, layover, and tow new platforms. You got like $2 a mile up to 150 miles plus the 150 if you showed up at the customer and the load was canceled or something like that. As long as you had it in the app that you were showing that you were heading there. And what they did was they created a market share because now you could see the customers. Now you're getting a decent rate. Now their detention in Tonu was unmatched by anybody else. And it wasn't bad. There were so many times that I could click and go. And coming from Schneider, that click and go was nice. We had one driver that was over here that did nothing but Uber and was one of Jeff's top earners. But then something changed. They started outsourcing a lot more. They so service kind of went downhill, but then the rates went down. And I was thinking about this after a chapter that I'm in on Never Split the Difference book. I noticed that their rates got really low when you had available bidding, when they added bidding to their platform. And it dawned on me what they were doing. I don't know why it took me months to figure it out, but here's what they're doing. There's a couple other click and goes that start off really low, and you have to bid them up. So what's happening there is that's a psychological tactic. I'll give you an example. So let's find a load here. This is Van. This is the hot market map for Van. Let's take a look at Missouri. Let's look at this Neosho to Coldwater. What's the weight on this? 21,000 pounds. I know what this is. This is Sunbeam products out of Neosho going to Walmart in Coldwater. Well, it's got extra stops, so that's not going to be a good example. Let's do this Kansas City to Charlotte. All right, so they're offering 1350. It picks up today at 2 p.m., delivers Wednesday at 11 a.m. It's about 950 miles. That's not a bad run. That might kill your Wednesday if you don't get unloaded quickly. So I would want to know what the receiver customer is. It says beverages, plastic bottles, 44,000. So pretty heavy. So your fuel's going to suck on that. And I want you to take a look at Cargo Chief. Cargo Chief is based off of the freight bills in this lane of what these loads have gone for. Green Screens is the high, and also has the low. Green Screens is an AI platform that uses the information to determine what the highest has been and what the lowest has been. And then you have Rate Check, which does the same thing. All right, so they're at 1350. That's way lower than any of these other numbers. They're at $1.42 a mile to take a 44, almost 45,000 pound load going all the way to Charlotte, North Carolina. Okay. Now, something I want you to take note. Some people will look at this load and like, I'm not even calling on that. They could take that 1350 and shove it up their butt, right? That's the design. That's the trick. They don't want you to call if you're going to price them high. They want the lowest bottom feeder, cheapest rates they can get this moved for. Now, whether the motivation is because they want to keep more for themselves or because they undercut another broker that was moving it consistently and they're going to find out the hard way that they can't move it because it's too low priced. Whether that doesn't matter. None of that matters because if they're pricing it too low and they undercut another broker to get this load, then they're only slicing their own throats, right? If they can't move this load, they don't keep this customer. Now, if they're trying to open their profit margin, which is very possible because the brokers are hurting now too. You know, you've had a lot of layoffs and everything like C.H. Robinson and who's the other one that laid off? Oh, Coyote's laying off a bunch. Okay, so obviously there's some struggles in the market, right? So regardless of the reasons why they've got it priced at 1350, it is your job to talk them up. Unless that 1350 works for you, but I don't know too many trucks that can run at $1.42 a mile. Because if you look at the rates coming out, there's quite a few loads coming out of North Carolina. So let's do like 382 coming out of Charlotte. So let's take a look at that real quick. $1.49 is the posted rate. $1.42, $1.96. There's actually now some bad rates coming out of North Carolina, which I've been telling people for weeks that the Southeast is doing great, and no one believes me. So these are actually decent rates. So I digress on that. But like this, well, you know, but then you got this Gaffney, South Carolina, St. James, $1.55. So let's take a look at this load. Now, again, rate per mile, rate per day, whatever floats your boat. Cargo Chief is showing 201 a mile. That's a whole that's 40 odd cents a mile difference. And the high was 245, and that high was probably during, you know, some extreme circumstance. And then the low was 1533. They're below the low. And then rate checks at $13.72, $1.78. So when I see this, I'm seeing that they're trying to drive down the rates this week. And here's the thing, just like when you talk to a broker and you go, hey, I'm going to try to get as much as possible. And I'm going to push the envelope. Oh, I got X amount. Man, maybe this time I can get even more, right? You're going to try to get more. Anytime that you, like, if you ever set the anchor and said, oh, I need $5,000, and they go, okay, what do you say to yourself? You go like, oh, probably should have asked for 6, right? So we always want more, okay? But they're driving the rates down, and here's how they're doing it. They're doing it psychologically. That's one of the processes. In other words, you're going to look at this load and not even bother with it. I'll call this load, and I'll see where they're really at. And here's the thing. This is why there's a struggle right now, because if I call on them, and let's say I try to get 18 for this, okay, which is not, which is, it's kind of up there. I'm going to use some tactics. I'm going to use some wordings to kind of, play the game. And they go, no, we're 1,200 firm. And if my tactics aren't working, then just I'll let that, even though it's going to St. James, even though I know that customer, even though that's probably a perfect load for me in my truck, I'm going to pass on it. Because I'll end the conversation with, well, if anything changes, I'll come down to 16 on this, and I can get that moved for you. And there are many times when I get a call 5 minutes later, because I called their bluff. Or after about an hour, they realize that, they're not going to be able to move this for 1,200. The problem is there's a lot of people that are desperate that will move that for 1,200. And it may not be desperation, maybe because they have a dedicated thing that needs to get back to Missouri. Maybe they have a contract that they have to get to Missouri by X amount of time. So they're going to take this load. They're going to grumble about it. They're going to hate it, but they're going to take this load. And the more people, the more drivers, the more trucks there are than loads, you're always going to run into that. And so there's this psychological warfare going on both sides. And what I have found is if I deal with a broker that's emotional, I don't like dealing with that broker. If you have a broker that hangs up on you because of the price you ask, or if they yell at you, if they disrespect you, then you're dealing with a highly emotional person. And I have trouble with that. I don't like being around highly emotional people. Well, I take it back. I'll be with highly emotional people, but as long as they got some kind of sense of control. And right now, if you're sitting there with the truck payment that's pretty high, and your fuel bill was higher than you thought, and then you just had a repair done that maxed out your credit card, you're probably not in the right frame of mind to make some good, stable, non-emotional decisions. So it's hard to not be emotional when you see something like this at this rate. And we all go through that. There are days when I'm like, what is this? And so that's something that you have to consider, is the psychological, emotional aspect. And you need to take the word fair and throw it out the window. And this is something that is a struggle every day for all of us, myself included. So I noticed that when Uber started allowing you to bid, that's when their really low rates started. For the most part, except for the shutdowns during the bid, right? But that was due to volumes. I mean, volumes do create. It's a supply and demand world, and the brokers are now fighting each other over volumes. They're tripping over each other for customers. Like, here's another one of these $50 loads that Direct Connect is posting. There's a reason for this. Why are they doing this? Because the people that sort their searches highest rate per mile are never going to see this load. And he wants the people that don't know, that don't do this research, that don't know how to price their own loads. DIY Semi, he did a video, I think it was Saturday, where he with Paul, they were talking about people getting their own customers, companies getting their own customers. And hold on. And most drivers don't know how to price a direct customer. And the struggle with trying to acquire a direct customer right now is that if they have the option of going direct to a carrier or getting it off the spot market, let's say it's mulch. Mulch doesn't require a whole lot of skill. Mulch doesn't require the best equipment. Mulch doesn't require, so a lot of times that they're fine with the one and done, bottom feed carriers. And so they're going to save money by putting it on the spot market right now versus finding a direct carrier that needs a sustainable revenue. And you have to admit, a lot of this stuff on the spot is not sustainable. Like, you cannot run consistently every day for $1.42 a mile. I don't care if you got paid off equipment or not. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. Someone's out there probably yelling, saying I'm doing it. But at the same time, are you really? Do you know your numbers? A lot of people think they're making it and they're not. So this is why having all these tools is important. I mean, they're putting $50. Is it a typo? Did they mean 500? Is it a partial? Even partials don't go for $50. Either that or the person just is not paying attention to the details. And do you really want to work with a broker that doesn't know the details? I've been on the phone with CDN when he's talking to customers. And he knows his stuff, man. He really does. That's the kind of broker I would just like, hey man, you're my dispatcher now. Give me all your freight. And I'll keep you moving. And so when I wake up in the morning and I see a lot of these rates a certain percentage lower than what the averages are showing, and then also lower than what Cargo Chief is showing, that tells me that, you know what? They're trying to drive rates down. The AI on a lot of these brokerages are driving their freight rates down. And now they're not paying to go to the Southeast because why? Because there's a lot of freight out there. Here's one: Kansas City to Hanover Township, Pennsylvania. It's going to be heavy. It's 44.5. Cargo Chiefs got it at 23. They're at 24. The highest is 24.79. Picks up tomorrow at 1, delivers at 8 a.m. And that's going to be another load that's going to cost a lot on fuel and tolls if you take the toll road. I think you can get away from the toll roads. That's good. But still fuel, through the hills in Pennsylvania. But again, you might have a direct customer in Pennsylvania. You might live in Pennsylvania, and now this is your load out of Kansas City. So there's so many variables, and so the important thing is the mental aspect of negotiating. There's a science to it. It's simple, but there's a science to it. But it's not that it's not that complicated. It's just a matter of being able to read people, listen to them. Sometimes we're in such a hurry. I'm guilty of this. I'll call and say, "Hey, give me details of this load," and I'll have to ask them again. Okay, so it picks up at 9. Okay, where at? That kind of thing. And that's just me being brain dead, or I've just talked to like 15 brokers that day or something. I try to avoid that if possible, and that's why I don't mind the email, because I can sit there and stare at it and look and like, okay, let's do some calculations, that kind of thing. And then also, how much do you engage? Like if you email a broker and they go, picks up in Pittston, PA at 9 a.m., delivers Columbus, Ohio, 12 p.m., freight of all kinds. What's your rate? And that annoys me, right? I want full details. What's the product? Is it beverages? Is it alcohol? Is it, if I'm a Muslim, what if it's pork? What if I can't haul pork? Now the smart brokers will put that stuff in the description so they don't even call. But, so I need details, because I'm making calculated decisions. I'm not just wanting, and I think, now correct me if I'm wrong, CDN, okay? Correct me if I'm wrong. But if I'm a broker and I have a carrier call me, and the first thing they go to is the money without wanting to know any of the details, would I want to work for with that carrier? Because obviously the money's more important. Like, what if they can't make the delivery time? What if they don't have enough time on their clock? What if it picks up in like 10 minutes and they're an hour away? Am I wrong about that? And so the opposite end is that I get the same thing. Like they go straight for the rate. Like, okay, this is picking up at this time and this delivers this time. What's your rate? I'm like, hold on, hold the phone here. I need some details. What's the product? Who's the receiving customer? How long does it usually take to get loaded? Can I go in early? I want details. I want to go in fully educated on what I'm dealing with. I don't want to fly by the seat of my pants. But that's just me. I'm weird, right? I'm an anomaly. So go back to the comments. You guys are putting in some good comments. Let's see. Dreamer Seat, good morning. Several small towns have been evacuated from the fires. DIY, James Shee, good morning. Good morning, you guys. Marty says, I'd like to see that more at 2,500. Well, don't we all, Marty? We all would like to see it at 25. Hell, let's do it for $5,000. But it's not. So, what are you going to do? Look at Veritread, auction style website that carriers can bid off equipment and parts. Sellers never give feedback. They are just looking for cheapest rate. Veritrad charges 20%, no complaints. U-Ship is a race to the bottom to bid lower. Has anyone reported Yoshioki to the FMCSA for unethical practices? I have no idea that is. Dealing with highly unprofessional people, and that happens both ways, right? Today I'm highly emotional due to 2 team loads I had delivering this weekend, and carrier stopped communicating, would not provide driver's cell number. I have a customer thread with 20 people, and I look bad. Yeah, I mean that would definitely make you emotional. But I also know that if I called you on a load, you would not show that. You would have control over that. Have a great day, Steve. Red Pepper. Keep on trucking, everyone. Due to carrier not providing me updates as we agreed, I paid this carrier $10,100 each load for team drivers for 2705, $373 a mile. So yeah, I'm really irritated. I was taking calls, text, email. And see, and so here's a carrier, here's 2 carriers that found a sweet load, and they're screwing it up. That I would kill to have that opportunity. I'd be the best dispatch service ever if I had loads like that. And somebody's throwing that away. Somebody's taking that and throwing it in the trash can. For why? For what? Those are the kind of people that need to go out of business. The carriers that don't communicate, the ones that take great opportunities and throw them in the trash, those need to go out of business. Because all they're doing is bringing everybody else down. And I know several brokers that have lost accounts due to bad carriers. Sweet loads too. And it's just people just throw them away because we're entitled. It's not fair. Right? Trucker Bill, good morning. Terry, what's up? Good day, sir. I saw your call. I'll call you afterwards, after the live feed. I appreciate the compliment. All weekend, my carrier dropped the ball on communication. Both trucks delivered 1 day later than I planned. My customer had crews working this weekend, which I made carrier know. Easy to see why. Brokers getting jaded. Deal with 20 loads where drivers or carriers do not communicate. Let me know how you perceive carriers after 20 stressful loads. No more rant. I get it. I've always been on your side on that, CDN. Scorpion Trucker, hope things get better. Ryan Peterson, share this out, guys. Thank you, Ryan. When talking to a broker, I think it's sometimes about educating. It is. Sometimes you might get a new guy that doesn't realize he's got to have all this stuff in the bag. So you make him work, right? Because if he's tied to the phone for 20 minutes explaining things to you because he doesn't know, or you're explaining things to him, and that's less chance to move other loads that he might have. So it's in his or her best interest to make sure that they kind of know their stuff when the driver calls, and pick out the carriers that actually care about the details. Correct, Steve. I don't hang up, but I'm very short with carriers who just ask great with no details. There you go. They don't want you to know who the hell their receiving customer is or who the hell the shipper is. Half the time, they barely want to give you the address, so they'll give you a city to drive to. That has not been my case. I've been able to get receiving customers out of TQL, and they're the ones with the most strict. So there's that. Wheel Burner, good morning. I remember a lot of times they would just give me a city or a zip code that told me to start driving there that needs punctuation. For the love of God, Jackknife, punctuation needs to be picked up ASAP. It won't give me the no. You don't go to a load without an address. You don't start on the load without a rate con. So you just don't do that. If someone gives me a zip code, start heading there, I'll give you a rate con. I'm like, nah, I ain't moving this truck until I get a rate con. Been doing warehouse to warehouse move for good money. Good deal. DIY, sorry, that was a typo. I meant U-Ship. No carriers are complaining about U-Ship. I don't even use U-Ship. Quick hit. Good morning. Mother F trucker. Morning. Howdy quick. 3 loads for 1,400 a piece, 62 miles out and back. Treat your customers good. Relationships. There you go, man. There you go. Question: why should the best paying loads deserve better service? I give my best every time, whether it pays $1.50 or $5 a mile. Stuart, that's a great question. I remember reading a Facebook post. This guy goes, I'm not doing my check calls. I'm not communicating with the broker because they can take this $1.50 mile and shove it up their butts, but I'm doing this load anyways. And the interesting part about that is, let's say I call some roofers to my house and we agreed on a price. And if they had the attitude like, well, we're not making hardly any money on this, so we're going to do a crappy job, would you want to use those roofers anymore? And that's the problem. Not everybody gives their best. Look, things happen. Trucks break down, tires get flat. There's a miscommunication somewhere. That happens. And the majority of the time, what I'm finding is that people that complain the most have the most issues, not the other way around. I know people that have lots of issues that get thrown at them, but they deal with it. They don't complain about it. And then you have people that do nothing but complaining, but there are always these issues that they're coming up with. I can't catch a break. What fuels one? Chicken or the egg, right? We argue about the stupidest things. I saw some live feeds over the weekend. I'm just like, really? We're arguing about this? Unbelievable. Man, I used to constantly update my broker when I was doing spot market. I would send them screenshots of my Google Maps, ETA, tell them to have the receiver ready, etc. Well, good on you, man. Do not need to call. Sorry about that. Okay, Terry. I was going to call you anyway, see how things were going. You charge a shoelace surcharge now? Glove and bungee surcharge? But Stuart's right. You should have consistent service regardless if it's $1.50 or $5. Because we're mental. Okay, I'll give you another psychological example. Okay, so let's say you're on Amazon and you see 2 phone chargers. One's like $3 and the other one's like $12. Which one are you going to buy? Probably the $12 one. That's where the reviews come in. You look at the reviews and but there's this impression, there's this personification, and that's probably a dumb word. There's this impression that the $12 one's a higher quality, when in reality they could actually come out of the same factory. You see that on eBay all the time. So just because you're paying a carrier $5 a mile doesn't mean that you're going to get quality service. And just because you're only paying $1.50 a mile doesn't mean you're not going to get quality service. But guess what? The carriers that are doing the absolute best service on the $1.50 mile freight, I imagine they probably got something else going on because of their customer service abilities. Dad always said, work harder than anyone else and treat others as you would want others to treat you. Kind of goes with anything in life, right? Complaining without a solution is just whining. I don't tolerate grown adults that whine. Yeah. Yeah, if you get look, this happened Friday night. If you get on a platform and complain about your company and you're offered solutions to change it and you don't, that's just complaining. And to put that on a platform, public platform, it's just bad business. It just makes you look bad. And I'll leave that there. You know, like for example, if Jeff was ever call me and say, Steve, you suck, I hate you, leave. Here's your contract. I'm burning it in the fire right now. I'd be like, okay. First thing I would do is I want to know what I did wrong. Then the next thing I would do is just get over it and find another carrier. And you know what? I wouldn't get on YouTube like, well, like trucking. I would just be like, hey, Steve, why'd you leave like trucking? Well, I don't know. I'm not sure what happened, but it is what it is, and I'm over it. But the human emotion wants to sit there and blast everything out loud. That's not how you get stuff done. Too many of these social justice warriors, these are the same people that are throwing food on the old paintings, or they're throwing black dye in these water fountains, or they're going in the grocery stores and spilling all the milk or the wine because it's blah, 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 blah. Right? Well, I'm going to get on the internet and gripe about my company and hope that there's changes because of it. Like, you don't see Walmart um you see some Walmart employees doing that, right? So it's just very interesting. Bullet Woods, what's up, man? I saw parts of your live feed with Sterling, man. There was some good conversation there. I appreciate the kind words. I would rather have carrier tell me the driver met some girls in party last night and will be 6 hours late. Communicate honestly as I catch carriers that lie because they keep their lie consistent, right? When I've been on freight, aren't we the cheapest nor the most? When we've been on freight, we aren't the cheapest nor the most expensive. Yes, you're finding the middle ground, right? We provide service and value. That's the thing. Service and value. Company driver here. My dispatch is on the ball. Will work me in and out of docks as long as we keep her in the loop as to where we are, not having to deal with brokers directly. Priceless. There you go. You're fired. Don't you mean you're fired? Ego will destroy a business quicker than anything else. That is absolutely true. You can't fire me. I quit. Well, I'm sure that's one reason why most brokers ask if you're unloaded already and call back when you are. They don't want you to feed them some BS. So, anyways, negotiating, it goes beyond negotiating. Look, you know how many people I talk to that go, oh, I hate talking to brokers. And I'm like, well, why in the spot market? Well, to make money. Okay. Now, one driver, he got smart and he hired me to deal with the brokers for him. But you know what? He still does his check calls. He still has a conversation. He just doesn't like negotiating. He's not the guy that's going to do the 20 phone calls. He'd rather just drive the truck. So that's where I come in. So he knows his limitations. So, hey, when you get a chance, look for the love of God, punctuation, my friend. Look up flatbed loads out of Allentown area. Just want to see how decent it is or not. LOL. Okay. Well, let's feed your curiosity here. Allentown Pa. Going anywhere. 150 miles for flatbed. Apply. Search. Here's a low, $20.45 a mile. Jackknife, you're missing out. It's $450, but let's do the highest rate. 5,500 to go to LA. 3663 going to Brownsville, Texas. Williston, North Dakota. Here's your load. They're Cascade, paying $1.74. They're way below. Look how much below they are. The rate checks. Look at that. Consistently. But hey, is that a mind trick or is it really paying this much? So let's click on one of them. Let's do this one to just for Cascade's sake. Let's find this one going to North Dakota. Where'd that one go? Oh, I lost it here. Oh, there it is. I'm blind. Picks up today, delivers Friday. Now Cargo Chief's got it at 33.96, 205 a mile. It's been as high as 5,200, and rate checks at about 35.48. Now, there are people that were able to do this load last year for 5,200, or maybe even earlier this year, that are going to go out of business because they can't manage their money, or because a circumstance beyond their control happened, like blowing an engine or something of that nature. 2 boom lifts, no tarp. BMAC Logistics. Let's see how they are on their credit. Ooh, 72 credit score. And they are not pre-approved. You got to find out if they're approved by Thunder Funding if you factor through them. So there you go. There's your curiosity. Does that say $1.54 to Dallas, Texas? I don't see one going to Dallas. I see Brownsville. It says $1.92, $1.71. But then you got this one, 306 to go from DC to Ocala, Florida. 306 a mile. Here's one going to Tulsa, $1.97. They're about right where the rate check is. Lots of threes through here on the shorter stuff. A lot of stuff going to New Hampshire. That's interesting. Wilmington, Illinois, $1.87. Paying a little bit lower to go that way. But like this one, 307 a mile, 489 miles, Bristol, New Hampshire. That's if you can't negotiate them up, that's still in one day. So you are. I'm what? No, not for $1.74, right? Good morning. Just curious, empty in Fort Worth, Texas. Are there any loads available going to Illinois? Van trailer. Well, let's take a look at that. New search. Fort Worth. Going to Illinois. And then for today, I'm assuming, for van. Apply. And by the way, 48065 on the features of 123 low board that you're seeing here. Everything except Cargo Chief. You get 30 days free, $35 a month after that. For all the premium services, Cargo Chief is a $20 add-on. All right, so hit search. Not much. Fort Worth to Mundelein, Illinois. That are $1.59, $1.51, $1.22, $1.19, $1.20. When you look at the rate per day, let's take a look at this one here. If you don't negotiate them up, Cargo Chief showing at around 19. The high and low is 16 and 13. 43.5 on the weight. There's your contact. Picks up today. Doesn't say when it delivers. So 972 miles. It's a 2-day run. $1,550 divided by 2. That's 775 times, let's say you're at 80% company, times 0.8. That's 620 minus fuel. If you do this consistently, and your haul coming out of Illinois isn't great paying, that could definitely be a struggle for a lot of people. See how fast I did that? What's your cost per day? Are you profitable per day at $620 a day after your percentage? It's not hard to be professional. It just takes practice making good decisions one at a time and caring about the people you're serving. Investing in yourself isn't always money. Right? 3,500 says Cascade. Back in the day, I really only used the boards for a backhaul. I couldn't run the boards full time, so I got out. Salute to you dudes that make it work. There you go. Why would you go to North Dakota for a $1.74 flatbed? You got a good 300-mile deadhead to find something out of there. Well, that's your knowledge. Look, and look, you got out of the flatbed game. You got out of the spot market game, so you know. Again, punctuation. Trucking with the mule, what's up? Tolga, good morning. With both feet, good morning. Scorpion Trucker, good morning. Saying good morning to With Both Feet. He just released a video on his channel of who he's signed on with, so go check that out. Grammar Nazi. Well, I'm not a grammar Nazi as much as like it's hard to read his Jackknife's extremely long comments with no punctuation. It's hard to read and sound like I know what I'm doing. I would maybe do that New Hampshire one and take a cheap lumber load out of Massachusetts there to get back to PA. Memorial Day weekend should be fun. Yes, that's coming up. That is definitely coming up. I know you're messing with me. My feelings are not hurt because I don't have any feelings. All right. So, anyways, let's look at load availability on the flatbed side. A lot of red going on. This is why your rates suck, Jackknife. A lot of red going on. PA's yellow. That's why the rates coming out of there weren't very good. Let's take a look at Georgia. Let's take a look at the highest rate. 275 a mile, 358 a mile, 267 a mile, 298 a mile. If we're going to focus on rate per mile, here's one that Raycheck's got it at 2188 and they're at $3,000. Again, no one listens to me. The Southeast is where it's at. For now. That's why they're not paying to go into there, because they know you're going to get it coming out. Let's see what Oregon's up to. Their rates are a lot lower, aren't they? 206, $1.69, $1.69. This is for flatbed. 272, 1625 for 598 miles. That's something you could do in a day. That's not a bad daily rate there. A lot of stuff going to California. What's this one? My internet is being slow. North Mankato, Minnesota. They're $1.49. 48,000 pounds, no tarp. Anything into North Dakota has to have 300 extra miles to get out of North Dakota. That's what you put into your pricing. And most of the brokers that know what they're doing, they're going to know that. No punctuation for you. Southeast to Midwest, East money. Well, when I was paying an employee to do local regional flatbed work, I had a break even of $725 a day. So yeah, basically no profit until the truck made over $725. Those are probably ODs. Oh, you never know. Dreamer seat, what's up? Been doing it all winter till now. I don't use load boards. Most of our freight going to us, or we know brokers who don't post on boards. There you go, Bill. That's the way it's done. So, anyways, I hope you enjoyed this morning's event, and yeah. So it's look, it's tough, man. I'll see how the rates play out. Memorial Day weekend is coming up. And so it'll be interesting to see. Usually that's the kickoff of the summer freight. So we'll see how that goes. I did see a small bump up in rates during the blitz, but not enough to like, oh yeah, my a lot of operations are going to be saved. No, it wasn't anything like that. But it showed that when you have a little bit of leverage, you can negotiate up. And it's about having leverage and talking to people and understanding their situation, and brush up on some sales skills, brush up on some negotiating skills. And and you're not going to get a home run every single load. You might have to do 3 loads at a loss just to kind of get to where you need to be. And if that doesn't work for you, then you have to find a different platform or park the truck. The more people that park their truck, that can't make it, the more there is for the rest of the people that are still working. So just keep that in mind. So Cascade said Blitz did nothing in flatbed. So big bubbles, no trouble. I'm seeing a lot of new names in here. So PSA, Idaho is doing random cherry diesel inspections. Got pulled in the day after the blitz was over. Tricky buggers were still set up for inspections after the blitz. A lot of states do that. Ohio is known for that. Illinois is known for that. They got all that equipment out there, and guess what? They're going to use it for a minute. So just don't. You should never be relaxed about your equipment or safety, anyways, right? So blitz should not worry you, other than delaying your time, your transit time. So throw some love at Snorelord and give him a thumbs up, guys. Definitely always dishing out top-notch educational advice and ways to help your business succeed. So I appreciate that. T-Bone, good morning. So CDN says, thanks for the show this morning. You're welcome. And I hope your day gets better as well, CDN. I hope you're doing all right, man. So with that being said, strength for today, hope for tomorrow. Be smart. Aggression turns the screws, right? And until next time, peace.